I see a lot of comments, and I've even seen, people make videos about, why they retired when they did, and telling other people, to maybe retire early just because of the fact that maybe someday they're going to be reducing your Social Security benefits. And I've never quite understood that. I guess the basic idea is, well, they're going to someday reduce your benefits. So if you retire early, you'll have more years of getting your benefit at the full value, and get more money out of it or something. That might be true in some respects, depending how long you live. If you're planning to die early, that might be an issue you might want to think about. But just from a financial point of view, I don't see how it really makes that much sense. I mean, if you don't have a job or you're not really working or making any money right now, then maybe it won't be that much of a hit for you if you were to retire early. But say a person like me, I'm working at the post office. I mean, what we make at the post office is publicly available. It's not like personal performance. It's all like union, seniority based and how many years of service and all that. Right now they're, sending out ballots. I haven't actually gotten mine yet, but they, had this continuing, or not, I'm thinking of Congress now, temporary agreement that they came up with the union, and they're having it voted on now by the members about a possible raise. It wasn't nearly what a lot of people were hoping for. I personally felt that some people's expectations were highly unreasonable. We're not Boeing, we're not the dock workers, we're not going to get the kind of raises that those people are. As federal employees working for the Postal Service, when the Postal Service is losing all kinds of money, you hear people say, well, the arbitrator isn't supposed to take into account how the post office is doing financially. Like if we were to vote down the contract and then have it go to arbitration, there's a very big difference between the arbitrator is not required to take into account the post office's financial situation, which is what the language actually says as far as what I've seen. And the postal, and the arbitrator not actually taking that into account. That seems kind of reasonable, actually, that they would. They might not be required to, but that doesn't mean they're not supposed to or not allowed to. So I personally don't think if it goes to arbitration, we're going to get some huge thing. And for me, as a top level employee, it's not that big a deal. But the reason I bring that up, right now, as someone who's still working and has a job where I'm making okay money, if I push off my retirement a few more years, depending, what kind of raise we get and all that, not only am I going to have a few more years of service when they calculate my pension, but also it's going to be based, my high 3 years of, base annual salary are going to be higher because of, the raise and so forth. As that goes up, the actual percentage I'll be getting in terms of years of service will go up a little bit. And then also the amount of money that it's based on will be going up, which for me, would make a little difference. Not a huge amount of difference, but still that makes a difference. And in the meantime, I'm still making, the money I'm making now. If you were, let's say the reason I got thinking about this was looking at my own numbers and stuff like that. I was talking to my wife last night, I was like, man, it's already been a couple of months since my birthday. Almost, another 10 months or so, I'll be able to take Social Security, be 62 years old, which, man, it's crazy. Way back when you're young, you're looking ahead to 62 and you're thinking, shit, that's never going to come, but it's here. In some ways, it's kind of nice to know that anytime I want to, I can just quit and start my retirement. I'm not planning to do it at 62, but still knowing it's there is actually kind of relaxing, and knowing that you're at that point, even though I don't like getting older. But let's just say as rough figures that say if you went at 62, round numbers, let's say you were going to get about $2,000 a month. And then let's say if you waited until about 65 or so, you were going to get, say, $2,500. say for somebody like me, my full retirement age is 67. But let's say I waited till like about 65 or so, and say you were going to get like another $500 more a month then. It doesn't seem like a huge amount more. It's 25% more. So it is obviously something. You can say, well, yeah, but you missed out on those 3 years where you would have been getting, $2,000 a month, which is what, 24,000, times 3 years is like 72 grand that you missed out on. But, by not taking that, then wait another 3 years, if you're getting another $500 a month, if they actually do reduce the benefits someday, then let's say that they were to reduce the benefits someday by, let's just say 20% for round numbers, you would lose $500 a month. So if you waited until you were 65 and took the $2,500 a month, even after they made a 20% reduction, you'd still be making a $2,000 a month, which is what you would have been making if you had quit at 62. On the other hand, if you quit at 62 so you can have more years of getting your full benefit or whatever, if that's how you want to look at it, you're making $2,000 a month. But then when they make that reduction eventually someday down the road, if they chop it by 20%, now you're down to $1,600. So you don't really have that $2,000 coming in. But a lot of people, they say that. I've seen videos by other people who have retired and they decide, well, why did we decide to go ahead and do it now? And one of the reasons they offer is, well, down the road, they're going to eventually reduce that. So as if it's, the extra few $100s a month that you're getting is not that huge a deal. So for me, I just never really quite understood the logic of that. Like I say, if you're not making any money right now, you don't have a job where you're making very much money and you can retire and you're basically still making what you were, maybe that makes sense, And if you think maybe at my age, I'm not going to be able to get a job where I'm going to make decent money. It's different for somebody like me. The job I have, basically it's mine as long as I can still go do it and want it, It's not like with some people where you're trying to go out and get a job and nobody will hire you because you're 62 years old or something, For me, basically as long as I want to stay here and I'm still able to do the job, it's mine. So that's a different situation for me. But you think about, you stop, you're getting your pension, Social Security. If you wait longer, your pension's going to be greater. Your Social Security check is going to be bigger. So even if they do cut it someday, you're still going to be getting more money then. And in the meantime, if you're like me, you're making money, your wife's making money. She won't have Social Security, a pension, stuff like that when we retire because she's still a lot younger than me. Let me see what happened to my screen here. So she's not going to have anything coming in when I retire, unless we don't retire for like another 35 years or something, So in the meantime, she's making money, I'm making money. If you're in a situation like that, depending, let's say whatever, as a couple, whatever the situation might be, in the meantime, right now, if you've got, like 9, 10, 11 grand a month coming in, basically, why would you want to stop that and move off to the Philippines and, just so you can get a few $100s more a month in Social Security for a little bit longer period of time? For some people, that might be an adequate reason to quit early, but I just don't understand that. If you're still making money right now and you can hold on and you've got a decent income coming in and you don't mind your job, you're still physically capable of handling it and everything, there's no real point in stopping just because someday they might reduce your benefit. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people think that is a reason to do it. For me, I just, I've never quite understood the logic of that, But for some people, if you're like totally debt-free or something right now and it's not going to make that big of an impact in your lifestyle. But for me, as a person who's not sure they want to retire right now anyways, and still capable of working, I would think that the fact that they might someday reduce that payment is actually a reason to stick around longer. Actually, I think it's a reason to start electing politicians who are going to make sure it doesn't get reduced and do things to try and protect Social Security instead of letting, multi-billionaires, cut it for you because they don't think you need the money. But that's just my perspective, Instead of saying, well, gee, I need to retire early because someday they're going to cut it, we ought to be electing people who are going to make sure it doesn't get cut. But, that's the only thing that's going to make a difference in that. But if we just accept the fact that somewhere down the line, they're going to start cutting the benefits because rich people don't want to pay taxes on more than a certain amount of their money. Well, they don't want to pay taxes on any of it. But I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense. But it would be interesting to know what everybody's perspective is on that. I mean, I know a lot of people put out videos and stuff. I saw this one couple, man, I forget the name of their channel now, this older couple. She was a teacher and they retired over around NAGA maybe. And that's one of the things they had in one of their videos, why they decided to go ahead and retire and move to the Philippines. Think about the fact that someday they're going to be reducing your benefits. But like I say, that's just, I don't know. To me, in my situation, I just don't see where that makes, much logic.